When did everything start just being about the outcome? When did everything we go after, everything we chase for, everything we view as valuable and as successful all become about needing to have something, about needing to achieve? See, so many of us are so focused on the outcome, we don't even find the joy in life. We're so focused on needing the next thing, creating the next problem so we can have the next achievement that we don't even enjoy the life that we're currently living. Why do we do this cycle? Well, most of us have been taught this cycle our entire life, that we can only be valued once we have success, once we get recognition, once we get a little bit of fame and we can show everybody else that we're doing all right. But do we actually feel all right? Everybody wants to show off, show everybody how much money they have, how good their life looks, the next vacation they're taking, how amazing their relationship looks. But as many of us know, even when we do that ourselves, there's still things underneath. There's still problems we're going through. There's still deep emotions that we feel that maybe we don't ever want to know about. And yet we don't put that out there. We want everyone else to see the amazing outcome we have without seeing anything about how we ended up getting there, unless it was all nice and fancy and all that, you know? And so what's the issue with this outcome-driven action that we're stuck in? Well, the problem with outcome-driven action is that we only do things if we expect a reward or outcome. See, when you operate as doing, having, and then being, doing the work so you can have something, and then you'll become the person, you get stuck in the expectation trap. The expectation trap is only doing things when you expect to get a reward out of it. And when you don't get the reward, when it doesn't happen as soon as we want, and when we don't see the outcome, we stop doing it. We stop doing it because we haven't become the person yet. See, it's extremely important that if you want to follow this process and not only not give up, but not do it in a way that's stressful, not do it in a way that you hate the journey and you're only doing it because you want something out of it, you need to focus not on doing and having, but on first being the person. See, this is the cycle you want to be following. First being, then doing, and then having. When we stop focusing on just having the outcome and start focusing on our identity, on the person we are, we're able to detach from the outcome. We're not concerned with having because we're already the type of person who has it. We view ourselves as already achieving it. We believe we are deserving. We do not feel lack, and so we easily move forward and gain our goals much quicker than if we had operated here. When we operate from the expectation trap, when we operate as a person that does not feel as though they already have, we are not the person who's already achieved it, and we feel good enough within ourselves, we continue to seek it externally. We continue to hope the outcome will give us a feeling, hope the outcome will make us feel like the person we want to become, and we get in this loop of always needing to have something more so that we can feel something. But what if we just gave it to ourselves? What if we let go of needing to have and we just focus on us? This feeling of not needing from everybody else, this feeling of being not attached to what the results are, not being attached to what other people think, and not being attached to the value that the outcome gives you. You're not identifying who you are based off how things are going. You're identifying who you are based off the things you do and the person you are, the person you choose to be. And so how can we change this? How can we focus on being the person first instead of needing to have some sort of outcome to make us feel some sort of emotion? Well, let's go into the law of detachment and how we can begin to let go of needing to have an outcome. So what is the law of detachment and how do we actually begin practicing it? Well, detachment essentially is just removing expectations. When we go after anything we want, when we begin taking action, we usually do it with the expectation of a reward. And so we only do it on the condition that we'll get the expected reward. But when that reward doesn't come, like we already talked about, you then stop taking the action and you don't continue working towards it because you aren't seeing the expectations come into your reality. But what we need to begin doing so that we can actually move further towards our success is completely detach from needing to see the outcome and just focus on needing to do the inputs. See, shifting from focusing on the outcome to the inputs. Inputs essentially just meaning you love the journey. You love taking the action and being the person who shows up every single day to continue moving forward instead of focusing on needing to see some sort of external result. This external result is what holds so many people back. Is because even when they achieve something, they continue wanting more. Nothing is ever good enough because they're only valuing themselves on their ability to achieve some sort of outcome. But when we completely get rid of this, not only will reaching the outcomes become easier, but you'll actually enjoy the process. Imagine if you loved taking action, you loved being on the journey, and you just liked living your life. Guys, this isn't crazy, but every time you place these expectations on needing to see a result, when that result doesn't happen, when you don't get exactly where you need to do, it doesn't serve you. Yes, reflecting on our process is extremely important. Looking at how much progress we're making and then reflecting on what we can do better is extremely important. But we do not need to have some high level serious goal that if we don't hit it at this mark, we're not good enough, or we haven't done enough effort, or we then need to feel bad about ourselves because we aren't the person, and then set new goals and just continue the same loop. And so how do we detach? How do we move from being outcome focused to input focused? Because it very logically makes sense. Why would we place a goal that's going to make us unhappy when we don't hit it, when we could just focus on doing the inputs, reach the goal, and then go even further? That way we're not placing our value and needing to reach the goal as how we're going to, basically feel about ourselves. We just give ourselves the feeling now and then take the action. Because remember, being, doing, having, not doing, having, being. You will not get what you want if you don't already feel like you have it. And that's extremely important and why detachment helps. See, if you do not detach, it can actually hold you back extremely. Because like we mentioned, if you don't feel like the person already, how are you going to work towards what it is that you want? If you do not feel as though you already deserve it and that you already have it. You can't feel lack for something you already have in abundance. See, of course, so many people will set new goals and then reset the cycle of lack. But say, for example, there's a girl hitting on you and you're a guy, you then wouldn't feel lack of partners. You then wouldn't feel like you can't have her because she's coming for you. Same with girls. If there's a guy coming after you or whatever you prefer, you wouldn't feel lack. You wouldn't feel like you have to chase them because they're coming after you. It's the same way with our goals. When you try and chase after them and you feel like you need them and you place these expectations on them, you chase them away. You push them further. The farther you chase it, the more it's going to run. And so we need to shift to feeling abundant now, not feeling like we don't have enough, not feeling like we're not good enough, not feeling like in some way this outcome is going to validate us, and feel abundant now. When you feel abundant now, you attract it to you. It's the same way in so many areas of life when you look around. If you already feel like you have money, you will attract it to you because you will do the actions and steps that bring it to you. But when you feel like you lack money, when you feel like money is in scarcity, you will then subconsciously take action that then confirms that. Whatever you feel internally will be expressed externally. And so until we shift to already feeling abundant and being the person already, it will not come to us with ease. And so simply, by being, we remove the impulse to place the expectation. If you already feel like you are going to easily achieve the outcome, like it easily comes to you, you won't place an expectation on it because you already feel like you've achieved it. You don't feel like you need to achieve it. Even if this outcome is something we haven't done before, you can build belief. And it's actually a very simple process. How we begin building belief is by creating evidence. See, most of us rely on evidence of our external world. We need to see things happen externally, aka having, before we can be. But when we switch this to being, then having, we need to create evidence internally. And the simplest way to do that is just visualize yourself already achieving your goal and give yourself the feeling now. Again, if you feel like you are in lack, you will not attract your goals. You will feel like you need and you will chase your goals away from you. But when you feel like you already have, when you give yourself the feeling of already achieving, when you act as if you've already achieved the outcome, when you simply just operate as the highest version of yourself, it attracts to you. Because again, when we operate from abundance, we attract the things we want to us because we're not attached to them. It's that simple. All you need to do is start by being the person now, acting as the new identity, as the best version of yourself, and you will begin acting in abundance, feeling as though you already have. and stop placing these expectations on everything you feel like you need to achieve. And so there's a few things I want you to watch out for as you're going through this process so that you can see where you're making progress and where you may need to reflect so that you can continue putting in the inputs and start creating the identity of the person you need to become so that you can have your goals. And so let's talk about detaching from external influences. As we talked about, when we're focusing on the outcome, a lot of it has been influenced by society and everyone around us. And that's completely okay when getting started because it's all we've known our entire life. But the more we work to focus on being, focus on what internally makes us happy and what's authentic to us, instead of focusing on what everybody else wants, what outcome is going to make everybody look at us better and give us more recognition and look better in their eyes, we need to ask ourselves questions because there is a process that goes on here. This is a shift. Remember, it's not going to happen instantly. It takes time, but I want you to take time to reevaluate the things you've done, the things you do day to day, so that we can begin shifting to this internal joy and giving it to ourselves instead of getting it from everyone and everything around us. One is societal influence versus authenticity. When we're making this initial shift, we need to question, what are we working towards? And was it something we chose or something someone chose for us? A lot of the things have been chosen for us. Wanting to make a lot of money to show off to everybody. Is that something you truly want because right now you're focused on giving? Or are you focused on showing, on needing to prove something? I know a lot of guys whose main goal is to make money, not because their reasons are to give to their family, to help their future family, those are the same thing in there, to be able to give back, to give and like all these other things. I'm not coming up with many great ideas right now, but it's to get back. It's to show everybody they were wrong. It's to prove something. And when they do this, they're simply falling into society's influence. They're focused on what everybody else has kind of pushed them to believe is going to make them feel better instead of being it within themselves. And so when they work to achieve their goals, when they go through all this pain and suffering because they don't actually want the goal, they just want to prove everyone wrong. And when nobody cares, they then fall into this helplessness because they don't understand why it didn't make them feel good. And so we need to focus on what is authentic. If you stopped caring about everything else, about what everybody's told you is worthwhile, and truly listen to your heart, truly listen to what feels aligned with yourself, and start working towards that, making that your North Star metric, it makes a huge difference. Stop worrying about what everybody else is telling you is going to be best for you and start focusing on what you feel is best for you, because if that's what's going to make you happy and make you actually enjoy life, that's much more valuable than going after what's going to make somebody else happy. And that kind of touches on our second point, is detaching from others' reactions, especially when it comes to your friends and family. See, they matter, of course. Respect your parents, respect your friends, especially if they're good to you, but stop basing your life on their expectations of you. Your opinion matters. What feels authentic and aligned to you matters. And so we shouldn't be doing things to either get a reaction out of them or based off their reactions. If you were working on something just to make your parents proud, truly question if you want that for yourself. Truly question if what people are telling you is best for them or best for you. Because what they think is best for you is simply just based off their perspective. But sometimes we even take advice from people who aren't even in the position we want to be in and don't even feel happy themselves. And so why are we sitting here taking advice on what's best for us from people who don't know what's best for them? We need to focus on what feels good to us. We need to focus on giving ourselves the feeling and being the person we want to become. We need to be selfish in this area because it is our life. And so I'm not telling you to disrespect anyone, but if you have friends who are negatively reacting towards what you're doing and you feel good about doing it, maybe they're not the best person to be around. If your parents are not supporting you, maybe stop telling them. Keep it to yourself. Stop trying to get a feeling from everybody else around you and their reactions and start giving it to yourself. This is a huge shift to make because for a lot of people, it's very hard not to want to tell people. But this is just a show of our internal focus instead of trying to tell to get some external feeling. And finally, it's just following what feels aligned. Following what feels aligned is just the key focus here. When we detach and we become the person we want to be, we're not attached and setting an expectation on the outcome, so we can just focus on us. We can just focus on what feels aligned and know that our goals are already achieved. When you truly create the identity of the person who's already achieved success, is already abundant, and you create this feeling by giving yourself the evidence and then using that evidence to give you the feeling, the outcome doesn't matter. You know this is a continuous journey. You know life is working for you, and you know you are destined to see success as long as you continue making progress, as long as you continue putting in action and the inputs. And so the more we work on this, the more we focus and ask ourselves, what's aligned? What truly gives me joy? What could I continue working on even if money was not an object? Even if I wasn't doing it for somebody else to make my parents proud, to show off to my friends, to make them feel like they're wrong? What truly internally drives me? And you may not know that just yet. You may not know your purpose, but if you have an inkling of it, something that feels good when you do it, something that truly fills you up with joy and you enjoy, not that it's not challenging. I think that's a key thing here. Just because it's aligned doesn't always mean it's going to be super easy, but you will want to continue work on it because you understand the long-term value of it. And so really ask yourself these things. Reflect on your life. Reflection is one of the biggest things you can do to work on your detachment. Reflect on areas you are to attach. Reflect on where you've been working too much externally and where we need to shift to some internal beliefs, something inside of us, and give ourselves the feeling instead of continuously searching for externally. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more help with this, I know this challenge, it can be a challenging topic, especially for a lot of entrepreneurs or just people working towards their goals who haven't seen success. I have a free community down below if you'd like to talk to me. I also have spots for you to book in a call while they are open. They do get booked in pretty quick, so make sure to continue checking back for some of those. Thank you so much for watching. Click the link below if you'd like to join inside of there. And also, please do make sure to subscribe if you have enjoyed and gained some value here. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you have questions, feel free to join my community and ask me directly. I would love to help you if you're challenged with detachment or anything mindset related, and hope to see you in the next one, guys. God bless.